Hello, hello, hello. Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to you. Wherever you are, whatever time it is when you watch or when you listen to this, welcome to my channel. All right, so ultimately, right, within giving report, everything's cool, right? Everything's fine. With me saying everything is fine, it's given that Ten of Swords card from that it's a from that one deck, right? And Ten of Swords could mean a lot of different things. It could represent endings. It can also represent betrayal, but it can also represent the initiation into the supernatural and what constitutes as being natural or authentic, right? What authenticity is and what it means to with and for you. I noticed for the past couple days, though, right? That the number 911 kept coming up. So part of it, of course, would be about it being an emergency. That's the initial thing. But what it's really given is how it would be an end to one's intuition or a cycle being complete with one's intuition. That's what I was really getting from it. The other thing is gargle with salt and water. That could be something significant for someone. Uh, I heard, is that a part of one of your gifts? Yes, it is a part of one of my gifts. When a person who is sick or injured sits in my essence, excuse me, and I've been touching people and hugging people and stuff. So different things it is that they would have going on with them, I can feel it, and it kind of transfers over to me a little bit. The other thing would be about a person binding one's uh, ability to speak. There's that. The other thing, right? My mind. Will you do a reading for us? Yeah, I'll do one. Just give me a second. I'm still in the process of settling in. I met. Yeah, I've had the opportunity, thankfully, to be able to sit and converse with a lot of people, and well, technically, it's not a lot of people. It's about five or six. With me having like extended conversations, making sure I get the details correct so that follow through is easier, right? That's one of the things that typically happens if you don't get the details and if you don't ask questions. I personally, I'll ask questions, but I don't always ask questions directly to the person upon finding out, what my uh, mission and things of that nature is. I typically like to wait until they're comfortable with talking about it, right? So there's that. The other thing, though, right? What, what else? What else? What else? The Six of Swords card was calling out to me a whole lot yesterday. It has been for the past few days, right? And one of the things that comes into place with the Six of Swords card is it's a few different meanings behind it. The one that I was seeing, right, it was from the Visions deck. So it would be about what constitutes as movement, right? I'm not seeing, I just seen the Six of Swords card. I didn't necessarily see the surrounding cards. What it's given is a reading it was that I did from a while ago because it was in my Visions deck and I haven't utilized my Visions deck a lot more up to date. Uh, So that's pretty much telling me that it will be a few different things in that particular deck that would be encompassing what type of movement it is one would have. And one of the songs it was I heard before I got on here is by LL Cool J. Who do you love? Are you for sure? Who do you love? Are you for sure? And then I was just hearing another song. It just eluded me. I'll get right back around to it in just a second. But ultimately, right? Uh, hmm, Okay, I'm taking it that the salt and water is something that would be helpful. Another thing, throat chakra healing is definitely another thing. And right, I saw the Cardinals. I'm so proud of the Cardinals. Look at y'all. What it would tell me to be expecting in the whole Cardinals aspect is telling me which readings it is that I would need to do. It'll be about Cardinals, cardinal signs: Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn. Fixed signs: Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio. And what I'm getting from it is it would be some Virgo essence that would be involved, which is to be expected because in Virgo essence, that we're in that Virgo Pisces axis, and Virgo being a reactionary fixer, right? In Virgo being a reactionary fixer, what you want to do is pay attention to what would be going on in your seventh house is the first one. But the other one that I was hearing and I'm kind of seeing is the second house. So it'll be about what constitutes as stability and practicality in your business and in your businesses and relationships. But also it's going to be speaking of the whole when you combine all of that information, the betrayals that could come into place with your with the business partnerships and relationships, right? And that would also check your 12th house uh, for it, right? Because what I'm getting from it is this is going to be about a higher order situation. Those who have a lot of information speak about the meanings ooh, of the houses and how it correlates with what would have been given energy into your that sign that resides in that house. Okay, so it's that. The other thing you want to pay attention to. Oh, and last but not least, the mutable signs, right? The mutable madness that could come into place. That would be Virgo, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces. The other thing you really want to pay attention to is planetary alignments and the effect that it would have on things. And the cardinals aspects, it'll be how it is, or Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, how it is you set yourself apart within what it is you would have nurtured, paid to, so that there could be balance, inside or good, bad, bad, yeah, good, bad, uh, good, better, better, best, all that. I think I probably need to post that again for you guys. But it'll be about that inside, outside, all around, paying attention to what would balance you out. So it's giving dizzy spells. It's something you may want to pay attention to. Another thing is, yeah, I've been having a lot of visions. I've been having a whole bunch of visions, like period. Whenever I'm in a new environment, that happens. Like I'll see it and stuff beforehand, but as I've been paying attention, right, to my journey and the way things, you have to keep it under wraps. Yeah, I have to keep it under wraps. Excuse me. And what that would mean for uh, it's kind of giving like the whole aspect when you are studying Buddhism, how he mummified himself within meditating, and in the Quran, the linens it is that would be utilized, and how in the Torah is given, but in the Torah that's where it's a little bit different because I'm getting gematria and how different facets with teaching and learning and things of that nature is talking about numbers. It's gonna be really, really important. Pay attention to the numbers, whether it's yours or someone else's. And the main thing that a lot of people keep indistinctively, right, correlating angel numbers with, right? Angel numbers don't only have to be, the ascending numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, or the descending numbers like 4, 3, 2, right? That's pretty much telling me that it would have been something that would have taken place at 4:32 or 12:34, but also, or even I want to say they're called consecutive numbers. Yeah, no, because what is given is the numerology, some math that will be done, right? And whether or not the math is mathing. It's pretty much what I'm trying to get from that. But it'll be speaking in regards to uh, angel numbers can be any number that really calls out to you. I just heard death dates and death times. Yeah, right. And that would be a way that spirit would be trying to communicate with you. 11:44 when I said that. So it's gonna be about you practicing your intuition so that you can know what it is that you would need to heal. Currently, what I've been noticing on a grander scale is varying degrees by which things would need to heal, right? Or what it is that they would be calling for you to heal. So when you see like the numbers and things of that nature, whether it be a birth date, death date, and it's coming through the time, pay attention to what constitutes as divine timing, part one, as well as uh, chronos, right? Yeah, in short, it's the you got to watch. You got to watch, and it was 1, 2, 3, 4 when I said that, but it was you got to watch, right? You got to, in short, you have to watch and pay attention, and even within being steadfast, right? Understand what steadfast is for someone else. When I got up this morning, because typically I get up like right before the sun will come up, right around 6 o'clock, and thankfully, right, Spirit reminded me, it's the weekend. You just talked about this. It's okay for you to allow for your body to rest. Me and my daughter, we were discussing it. Uh, we have been up and moving around and transitioning so much over the course of the past few weeks, right? For the past few weeks, we have been transitioning and moving and, picking up, in short, carrying our things with us, right? Discarding what we knew we wouldn't be able to need or utilize, and shifting over to a space that would actually have those things it is that we would need. In short, I heard go ahead and say what you have to. Within utilizing, going from one space to another, uh, there would be, we made sure we held on to certain items, right? I heard something about the fool's journey. It wouldn't necessarily always be about the fool's journey. Card in the major arcana would indicate different journeys that a person can go on or a person would be on. And when you know more, when you know more, it makes it you more adept. Being able, we were talking about it in house last night, right? That would be the equivalent of you denying your gifts that God would have given you, and that in itself would be a betrayal. Identify better, right? And you know, and when someone first answers to give it to, absolutely. Or how have you been feeling? I've been feeling good. I've been feeling good, y'all. I've been doing pretty good. Uh, I will say we definitely had a moment where it was like it felt odd to be able, just get up and go to the bathroom indoors whenever we really needed to. in the middle of the night. So I know for sure my body is realistically clearing a lot of that out. Excuse me, is clearing a lot of that out. And thank yogi aspect. And it's giving a boo boo, a yogi burr, right? And it was another one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it'll come out when I get to that portion. Okay, this must be someone. This must be a new person. I heard you. Okay. Yeah, no, because they're asking a lot of questions. Yeah, ultimately, I do have a lot of visions all the time. And what I've learned to do is to uh, consolidate, categorize, and compartmentalize them for when it's time for them to come out, right? When I first woke up, right? Yeah, somebody must have been looking on my page because I was thinking about it was coming through a tilted crown, right? Some people like their crowns tilted, and that's in the picture I had that said Bridgerton, right? Yeah, I don't know. Part of it is I just like the look of it. I like the look of it, the style of it. Yeah, and what would constitute as fashionable, right? So there's that. And what is given is in that time period, right? How her gestures and yeah, no, with the gestures portion, that's really given the someone must be doing something with Two of Cups. Two of Cups means a lot of different things. Sometimes it means 2 months. Sometimes it means love. And it's going to depend on where it falls, right? And sometimes it's just an indicator for you to have 2 cups or something, okay? And what constitutes as 2 cups, because it could also mean twin, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, or it could mean the mirroring aspects that come into place with what goes into planning, right? I heard God's perfect plan or God's plan, basically, and how it is one would have issue, right, with God's plan because they don't understand. What is also given is because now I'm hearing that song. If you can't hear my voice, please trust my plan. I'm the Lord. I see you, and yes, I understand. Right. One of the things that I personally love about gospel music and music, period, right, is it can relate to everyone along the way, right? If you allow it, if you, I personally like to use film, fashion, music, right, and with the whole music aspect is giving not only Mercury essence, right, or Wednesday essence. Your attitude determines your altitude, and your altitude is I was about to say defective, okay, about the about the attitude. That's some pilot talk. So it'll be about like the first episode. Hmm. No, because on the level of Lathrop mathematics is going to be talking about paying attention to what it is that would have been said while a person would have been having an quote unquote episode. And what do you constitute as an episode? Because episodes are typically associated with emotional manipulations that'll come into play. Not all emotional manipulations are bad though, y'all, right? Sometimes they're good. So, yeah, because if in a depressive mind state, guess what? You making them happy or having them feel better, that does constitute as an energetic and emotional manipulation. Just the same, right? If a person is happy, right? And they pull you into a lower frequency. In those moments, it constitutes as the same thing. So you want to pay those things some attention as well. One of the other things it is that I've been hearing while I've been here is I keep hearing you're safe, right? You're safe. I heard that a lot. And also, yeah, because I was hearing on my, yeah, just over the course of the past few days, a person was saying my actual name, right? They were saying I Miss Janet. And I was like, oh, okay. And then the other part of it would be, I apostrophe M, Miss MS, period, Janet, Janet. So I don't know where that would fit at. Her, go ahead, say whatever you had to and where it fit in. Well, there are a lot of Janets, right? And is even still 2211 when I said that. And there are a lot of Janet Burnses. However, they're not, yeah, they are of Caucasian descent. They're not other like me. Usually, yeah, because one of the things that did happen, though, y'all, when I was filling out paperwork, the question came up about ethnicity, and it was one of those, I don't fit into any of these boxes for real. And then it had the other box. And typically, I would choose the other box and put human, right? 2244 when I said that. In short, the foundation that comes within healing, right? So it's that part. The other thing is one of the things it was that I posted, right? Reptiles, lizards, when they are doing their mating calls and their mating rituals, they do what looks like push-ups, right? So yeah, I thought that was funny. And what it is to be in a relaxed and calm state of being. And yes, I do remember that I said I would be writing, I would be able to write a poem a day, but I'm still kind of in the spiritual aspect, it's just a little bit more, or not a little bit more, it's a lot more accommodating, so to speak, to get things done and decent and in order. I just heard, I love you. Oh, I love you too. I hope everybody's okay. I really do hope everybody's okay. I was looking at the temperatures and I noticed that they were saying that it was supposed to get up to like 108 degrees, and that's what it was going to feel like, 108 degrees. And then it's raining right now. And I was like, oh my goodness. Yeah, it's thankfully it's pretty cool around where I am, in the area I'm in. So what's going on someplace else I'm definitely not aware of. Not in the physical, spiritually, most certainly. Uh, what they say, I'm kind of like what they Candyman and Beetlejuice. Primarily, you want to know what the irony even is in that this is going to be a part of that Cardinals aspect about what it is that you would have nurtured within setting yourself apart. You'll hear it often referred to with something traumatic because Candyman is a very traumatic story, and in the darker zodiac he would be more so closely related to with the honey and bees and stuff. It'll be more so related to Gemini essence based out of the story for Candyman, and Cancer. So the withered lover aspect, but also with the whole Beetlejuice portion, it'll be about in the inner earth. And with us being in Saturn retrograde, pay attention to the seeds it is that you would have planted. Yeah, because you may need to start watering certain seeds, whether this is physical or even in the spiritual and mental notes. Yeah, what seeds it was that you would have planted is going to be really, really important for you to figure out. But just based off of what, yeah, what it is to be a leader, what it is to be a fixer, and yeah, and the different types of leadership capabilities it is that you're looking for. Okay. So, I just heard impressive. Oh shoot, we got some people who like watching. Yeah, who like the lighter side of things, right? But yeah, back to my original thought. Uh, with both Candyman and Beetlejuice, right? The unfortunate is everyone associates with, and even with Bloody Mary, right? You know, that's realistically a part of Queen of Scots, and that's where that story originates from. Do you know where certain things originate, right? But in those stories, it's always something traumatic that if you say it multiple times, it'll come into fruition. But you don't hear a lot of different stories about if you say something positive, it'll come into fruition, which is realistically, I heard, there you go, which is counter to what it is that's believed about positivity, right? So it's that part. The other portion of it is going to highlight what's your motivation. So I must be talking to a couple actors, actresses, or a person who would have to depict, right, something that they may feel is out of alignment, so to speak. I heard like a copycat, yeah, like a copycat. But even in copycatting, right, it serves its purpose, right? Yeah, because that's giving copycat and clone essence that'll be going on. Yeah, because for a nice little second, I was looking at Putin. I was like, that dude is a clone. I was looking at a few people. It's like, y'all. And even with clones, they would definitely have genetic memory. Her, thank you. That's what we needed to know. Okay, yeah. So genetic memory does shift from one aspect to the next. All right. When you hear the different numbers, they'll be, or some of them can even be gang affiliated, depending on how you see them. Yeah, and it could be telling you, it can be telling you, you know, to check on a person. And when I say gang, true enough, is to answer that particular question. But what you really want to pay attention to is ID, ID numbers, social security numbers, yeah, all of that kind of stuff is going to be real important for you to pay attention to. Depending on where it is her. What about serial numbers? Yeah, serial numbers too. Why is this given when they had finally found? Yeah, I had did a reading a really long time ago, y'all, and the trickle effect of it was, I did the reading, and a couple states came out. I want to say it was a North Dakota reading, and within a couple states it was that had came out. It was something about a safe that came up, and the numbers that are associated with it. So there's that. And also that gives a spin on the you're safe aspect. Is not necessarily a negative one, but what it would be highlighting is within a person being safe, a person being a vault. In short, what's in is in, what's out is out. Nah, cause what's coming to me is when I saw with little baby how he just popped out of the vault, and pay attention to that because that's going to be talking about your inner child. What is locked in with being an inner child, with your inner child aspect. Yeah, so that explains why that particular verse or scripture, you know, would come up. Of I posted it because it's kind of eluding me now. But with training, there you go, train up a child in the way that they should go, and when he grows old, he will not depart from it. Well, pay attention to a few different things because if your child is a visual learner and they see you doing one thing, but you're still stuck in that paradigm of do as I say and not as I do, you're actually, and they wind up doing exactly what they saw you do. That's because you're that's what their primary learning language is, right? And being able to know the difference between a love language and a learning language, right? The varying languages that come into place with you, with things. Um, I keep hearing something about binding magic and what is binding magic. You'll be amazed what constitutes as binding magic, y'all. Especially with the devil card coming up. It's about contracts, structures. And when I say structures, I mean literally buildings. Uh, it'll also even be about clothing, how tight clothing is. One of the things that typically happens is those of us who are either sun sign, right? Wind signs, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. It, whether it's that sun sign or going north, in order to feel more grounded, there would certainly be a need, right, to put on clothes that would be tighter so they could feel more grounded and actually, not feel like they floating everywhere as a naturalist. Yeah, because that'll be about the whole being aloof situation that can come into place. But I just heard, I like the way you think. I like the way you think too. I like the way you think too. Um, but yeah, no, because that's part of one of the challenges, right? Where I did see it on TikTok. That's the Chronos portion, as it would have manifested for me. How people were depicting, basically just popping out of a place and putting on a show, right? Yeah, so to be about to pop out to put on a show. And what constitutes is putting on a show. Put on a show, make one false move, and everyone will know. Right? When you're authentic, it makes it difficult for that to come into place. Right? Yeah. And sure, being you, just to be you. Right? Yeah, now, is somebody listening to music? Or yeah, I am. Oh, okay. Yeah, cause I'm hearing a whole bunch of dun, 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 bless my soul. I've been alone too long. Somebody without. I gotta get some lotion, y'all. Yeah, I haven't lotioned my skin yet, and also pay attention to skin. Um, yeah, to pay attention to your skin, right? So it's something. I'm trying to think if it's anything else. Trying to think if it's anything else right now, y'all. Gotta give me a second. No, because one of the things that was coming to me is Book of Shadows, right? And if you do the history on any religion, their what is mainstream now was at one point their Book of Shadows and the weaponry, right? And how people say that their religious text is weaponry, and it would be true. It is, especially depending on what level you're in, right? It doesn't matter if it's the dark or the light, but depending on what level you're in, it does constitute as a weapon when you know how to utilize it. But realistically, anything can be a weapon, right? So there's that. But yeah, I hadn't recognized in totality until I was able to actually go to sleep uh, fully. Uh, I hadn't recognized the amount of tension that was in particular parts of my back and in my body. So that's been, yeah, everything's been loosening up, and relaxing a little bit, flowing a little bit more. With that Virgo Pisces portion, you want to pay attention to the lymphatic system and the veins. And I heard, go ahead and say what you have to. Yeah, it was given in that Venus portion with if it's been showing up and you've been watching other readers and other readings, to pay attention to the Venus chambers inside of your actual heart and the space it is that certain things take up in your heart, right? You look at it like this: you have four different chambers, right, in your heart, and one of them, right, would constitute as the humanitarian aspect or the humanitarian scale. So that would be one chamber, right, and that realistically would house a soul family, soul tribe, right? And yeah, soul family, soul tribe would constitute as family, friends, people that you would meet on the streets, right? Another one would be a chamber for romantic love, and another one. I'm just naming these. It doesn't necessarily have to be this way, but I'm going with it, okay? For romantic love. And then you would have another chamber that would be assigned to like your livelihood. And I heard your fixed mindset with Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio. Exactly. Exactly. So paying that some attention. Because one of them would be about religious thoughts and practices, and the other would be about, uh, in short, what holds you steady and gives you direction. Okay? And last but not least, what you recognize. Okay? All right, so give me a little bit. Yeah, I'm about to. No, because one of the things it was that I saw that somebody must have fell down and kind of hurt themselves a little bit. Yeah, but I'm used to seeing that kind of stuff. It's residual essence. Anything that in any space. Uh, because when I was at my people house, right? Yeah, I saw a lot of different activities and stuff that would have gone on, and I was like, okay, well, I kind of know about what was going on, but I kept hearing thank you in a lot of regards from the spirit, yeah, from the spirit realm, so to speak, where they embody a different type of essence there. But yeah, so I'm about to go make breakfast and put a load in and get dressed for today. When I get finished, I'll be back up here and I can go ahead and knock that off. But ultimately, everything's okay, guys. I'm okay. Okay. I figured that it would have been a higher order reading in the whole pilot and piloting aspect. Um, what I'm getting from it on the military aspect. If you're going to be watching for the military aspect, this will make it so much easier for when I actually do the reading. If you're watching for the military aspect, pay attention to the fact that the Air Force was disrespected, and typically for it to be any type of victory, it would need to be all four branches. The other part of it is if you're watching for business, you're going to want to pay attention to not only what it is that would have taken place with being those who would have been grandfathered in, and probate court is what's really coming up a lot in that regard. And I know that's going to be, if we see any death cards or anything, the person, what it is that would have been done with the assets of the person who would have passed away, and how it is that those assets get redistributed back to the state, and what the money it is that would have been done in regards to that. I heard you may not even need your cards for that. I would need my cards because the cards could indicate names a little bit better for people opposed to opposed to me just talking about it. Yeah, and because with me just talking about it, it's not a whole bunch of names that you can really get out of it. With being authentic, one of the names that definitely would come out of it would be Frank and Francine, and Francois. Oh, that's some other stuff. Okay, now Francois, I know that that's a okay. What I just heard, I didn't really particularly care for. Yeah, I heard a uppity N word. Y'all better be glad I'm around little people. Yeah, because I got little people around me. So I'm gonna be trying to regulate my mouth a whole lot, but if I feel it, I'm gonna go there. In any event, yeah, because you don't want to put that on the kids, right? If they were my kids, it might be a little bit different, but setting the course, right? And even with setting the course, yeah, because with setting the course and me talking about probate court, the names that will come up will be Courtney. Let me see. Court, Cort. Some of the other names would be Kit, and pay attention to what it is you have in your kit, right? Which would mean pay attention to what the resources are. Um, and if you see a roster of stuff, I know one of the things that's happening with me is it'll be a culmination of varying events that would have taken place. And with me recalling St. Dismas, right, it'll be about the crucifix, right, what it was that took place at crucifixion, where St. Dismas gained redemption because of belief, and how in that transitional house or transitional housing, right? Yeah, from and what that's given is in the transitional housing aspect, St. Dismas House here, it it's for if you've been in a penitentiary or prison versus just being in jail. Yeah, there is a huge difference between the two. Jail, realistically, you may be able to get out in under a year. Prison, yeah, prison, especially if it's federal prison. So, just paying attention to those varying things. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and knock some of this stuff off, make breakfast, and do all that, and make sure I got everything prepared and planned. Okay. All right. Light and love to y'all. Thank you so much for, to everyone, right, that's been assisting along this journey. Pay attention to different things it is that would be going on to with and for you. And one of the things that happened that was super cool was I was able to get a teddy bear, right, that can be my mom's emotional support animal. If you know anything about me, you know that I carry my mother's ashes with me. I have them in a small urn. And we came across a small teddy bear that can fit in there with her. So now everybody on our journey, right, even in remembrance, has their own emotional support aspect. All right. Yeah. So light and love to y'all. Okay. Because see, remember, light work, it ain't light work. There being enlightenment about varying cycles that can be completed or that would need to be completed. It is not light work. It's not light work. And that's why you have to stay light while you work.